Hello YouTube, my name is Nero, and today we have some Call of Duty Black Ops 3. We're playing the beta, or at least we were playing the beta. I think just to make sure everything's clear on this, all the Black Ops 3 beta footage that you're seeing from me was from when the beta was actually out. There's actually a little bit of confusion about that in the comments of my last video. It's like, wait, how's Nero still playing the beta? It's like, no, this is all, I record a ton of footage back from when the beta was actually live on the PlayStation 4 as well as the Xbox One. Today is the first of a little series that they're going to be doing over there at Treyarch, over on the official Call of Duty YouTube channel. You guys may have heard of it. They're doing a series called Black Ops 3 Fridays, where the developers are going to sit down and talk about different aspects of the game. They'll answer a couple questions from fans, and today was the first in that series. If you guys want to go ahead and check out the full live stream that they did, you can do so by clicking the link down there in the video description. I'll give you guys the link as soon as it's available. Of course, as a process on YouTube's end first, but as I'm making this video, the video is yet to be processed. I just finished watching the live stream, and I would like to discuss different aspects of Black Ops 3 that they talked about during this live stream. So they announced two new things to us. They announced a brand new multiplayer map that we're yet to see, and they also announced the 9th and final specialist that is going to be in the multiplayer. Let's talk about the specialist first, because I think you guys are all going to be very excited about this. The 9th specialist is going to be called Firebreak, and Firebreak is essentially like a pyromaniac in a way. We don't know too much about the lore and the backstory. We did learn that we're going to be able to learn more about the lore and the backstory of all these individual specialists the more we level them up in the multiplayer, which I think is cool, because I love learning about backstory. I love learning about the history in games. But Firebreak here, one of his abilities is going to be an actual flamethrower. You're seeing footage of that here. I recorded this from the live stream itself. You are going to be able to have an actual flamethrower. You are going to be able to clear rooms like crazy with this thing, and it just looks like fun. You think back to Call of Duty World at War, that had a flamethrower. Call of Duty Black Ops 1, that had a flamethrower, which was actually an attachment. In World at War, the flamethrower was a perk 1 that you unlocked at level, what was it, 55? No, 65. That was the highest level in that game. So it was like the final thing you unlocked was actually that perk 1, which allowed you to have a flamethrower. And then in Call of Duty Black Ops, you also had a flamethrower, which you could have as kind of like an underbarrel attachment on certain rifles, right? And here in Black Ops 3, we're going to be seeing a return of the flamethrower, as it's going to be called the Purifier. It is going to be the weapon of choice for Firebreak. Now, each specialist actually has like a weapon ability and then like a normal ability that's not supposed to necessarily be doing damage. So his is actually going to be this ability, which is going to be kind of like a heat wave in a way, where basically he's going to be able to do kind of like an AoE stun effect almost. Picture it to be similar to the Guardian, right, from Black Ops 2, which is also in the Black Ops 3 multiplayer. Picture it to be kind of like that, but it's going to be like a split second where they're all going to be kind of stunned. It's going to give you like the 1-up, and I see some possible really cool ideas with this. So if you could somehow set this up, which it's always so hard to set things up like this in Call of Duty, right? You see stuff like this, because I've been playing a lot of Heroes of the Storm lately. It's easy to set up this kind of stuff in like a MOBA game, where it's like, okay, you go in there with your stun, and I'll drop this here and whatnot. But I can picture in Call of Duty where you have Firebreak, go into a room, do like that big AoE stun to everybody, then have somebody with like a pre-cooked grenade, throw it in there and get them all while they can't run away or something like that. Like I can see possibly stuff like that happening, but that's going to be his other ability. So his two abilities are going to be this ability that does kind of like an AoE stun, where it kind of slows everyone down, it kind of dazes them. The way they explained it is it's kind of like being in like a nice air-conditioned office, but then going out into like 90-degree weather, and you just kind of get hit by that, like you get hit by the heat. That's what it's going to kind of be like for a split second. And I've actually had that same experience in real life, actually. I live in Pennsylvania. Usually it's a bit on the colder side here, but what was it, back in like, it was like maybe 2006, 2007, somewhere in that range, I went down to Tampa, Florida for my great-grandmother's 90th birthday, and I remember getting off of the airplane, and there was a stretch of like 10 feet from getting off the airplane and then actually walking into the airport, and it was like walking into an oven. Like, it was like 95 degrees, it was humid like crazy, because it was in the middle of the summer down there in Tampa, Florida, and it was so horrible. Like, you just get hit, like, it was like a punch to the face of heat, and that's kind of the way they described this ability that Firebreak is going to have. That's going to be pretty interesting. The map that they announced, and unfortunately I don't have a lot of footage of the map itself because I wasn't able to record the live stream up until that point, and the name of the map is actually going to be Redwood. It's actually going to be set in the Redwood Forest. If you actually remember Nomad, like the specialist Nomad, and the background that you see for him, that's what the map is going to be like. It's going to be a lot of tall trees, it's going to be in a bright, beautiful forest, there's going to be old rustic cabins and stuff like that, but there's also, of course, going to be some futuristic stuff, because the game itself is actually set in the year, I believe, 2060, 2065, somewhere along there. So it's going to be a bit futuristic, but it's also going to be set in like the Redwood Forest, which I think is going to be really cool. It looks to be a very good map. They call it the most balanced map. They actually announced that it was like the final map that they actually worked on. So like some of the maps you can probably tell, and we'll probably be able to see when the game actually comes out, like what maps they started working on first, because maybe the movement system doesn't really work out that great. Maybe they're still holding on to the old traditional values of map creation for certain maps, but then as they kind of get more and more comfortable throughout the development cycle, of making maps with this new movement system, then you're going to see like, oh, this map is really well designed for the movement system that we have in Black Ops 3, and apparently Redwood is going to be exactly that. I think that's going to be pretty cool. They also announced that there's going to be possibly some map remakes, and that they may be announcing something here in the future. They specifically were asked of the map Raid from Black Ops 2, and whether or not that map would actually be making a return in Black Ops 3. They said they may be announcing something soon. They can't confirm nor deny that Raid is actually going to be coming back, but they said the idea that they're going to be able to remake maps and have reimagined maps enter Call of Duty Black Ops 3, possibly via DLC. It's probably going to happen, just the way they were talking about it and the way Call of Duty has handled this over the past couple of years. I would all but guarantee that there's going to be map remakes coming to Black Ops 3, and Raid looks like it's going to be a very possible one, because that was one of the top ones. They have lots of different kinds of stat tracking pieces of information over there at Treyarch, and they said that I think Raid was like number 2 or number 3 of like their all-time like favorite maps, or that people like to play and whatnot. And I have no idea what they base that upon, but apparently Raid is up there, so chances of them actually remaking Raid from Black Ops 2 seem pretty likely. They talked a little bit about theater mode. It looks to be better than ever. It looks like they're going to have a lot of functionality in there. They look to actually make it a bit better, and hopefully they can like fix some of the things that were kind of like plagued theater mode, I suppose, in years past. So for example, if you're a YouTuber like me, theater mode's a big deal. You know, if my capture card randomly doesn't work, or if I wasn't recording for a specific game, or if I get something really, really cool like a cross-map tomahawk or something like that, and I want to follow the tomahawk itself through the map and make this really cool cinematic, like there's a lot of great stuff that YouTubers and live streamers and content creators can do with theater mode. So we want theater mode to be as functional as possible. But there were, of course, some issues with theater mode in the past. Like, for example, Ground War rarely recorded. Like, if you go back into your previous games, if you were playing Ground War, it would only record like the first 5 minutes of a Ground War match for whatever reason. If you were to try to follow a helicopter, I believe it was in Black Ops 1, it just wouldn't work. I recall in Black Ops 2, the zombie theater mode, which was like the first time they actually implemented something like that, it was really hard to make cinematics and stuff like that within the zombie theater mode, because all the zombies would glow like bright red for whatever reason, unless you locked onto a zombie. It was kind of like a workaround. You could lock onto the zombie, and then from there it would like take away the red from away from all the other zombies, but that was like the only angle you could record, was the angle from the perspective of a zombie, either first or third person. Like, there was a lot of like random bugs and like that throughout theater mode, so hopefully they fix that. The stuff that plagued it in years past, hopefully it gets a little bit better. They didn't go into too much detail, but of course theater mode is returning. They said there's going to be a lot more functionality, and hopefully it's going to be better than ever, because obviously theater mode is a big deal for us Call of Duty YouTubers. We can do a lot of cool stuff with it, and hopefully it just is better than what it was in Black Ops 2 overall. They were asked about the idea of spawn trapping. We all definitely saw that spawn trapping was part of the Black Ops 3 beta, especially when you played in the game mode Safeguard. Like, spawn trapping was a big deal there. While they didn't specifically address Safeguard as a whole and discuss like the spawn trapping aspects of that game mode, they did discuss the idea of spawn trapping in like Domination, how they did tweak the maps. They tweaked all 4 maps that were available in the beta. They changed the spawn logic a little bit. They changed spawns throughout the entirety of the game as a whole. They really wanted to work on the spawn system. And what's really kind of cool about it is David Vonderhaar discussed how spawn trapping, or at least trapping, is a part of Domination. It's there for a reason. And one of the things that they really wanted to try and work with is the idea that you don't want to flip in Domination too quickly. Like, you don't want people being spawn trapped. Like, we've seen that in like Demolition. We've seen it in a little bit to a lesser extent in Safeguard, where you're like literally shooting people as they spawn. You don't want that to happen. But at the same time, like he says, Domination, you know, spawn trapping is kind of part of it. Now, you want to have B and C and trap them at A, or you want to have A and B and trap them at C, or whatever, you know. That's kind of what Domination is. You want to be kind of like putting the team in a corner, having them be on that part of the map, and trying to keep them there. It's why it's called Domination. You're dominating the other team. But at the same time, you don't want them to feel like they're being spawn trapped. You don't want them to feel like there's absolutely no way for them to actually get out of that spawn trap. We definitely saw that a lot in some of the Call of Duty games of years past. Like, Call of Duty 4's Bog comes to mind. Like, if you put the opposing team, I guess on either side, really, the A side or the C side, but C was a little bit better to keep them at, you could just dominate them. And every Domination map feels like that way. You know, every map seems to have, like, Riot and Advanced Warfare. In my opinion, you want to have the opposing team at the A flag, because they're going to be spawning at the bottom of the hill, having to run up to you. You have a building to be inside of. You have a roof to be on top of. You have multiple roofs to be on top of. It's like, it's just the most advantageous position. You want to have B and C on Riot and leave the opposing team at A. They want to have that return in Black Ops 3, but they don't want it to be ridiculous, but they don't also want it to be spawn flippy. Like, in my opinion, Call of Duty Ghosts was like this. Modern Warfare 3 was like this, where the spawns were just constantly flipping. You know, you never really felt safe anywhere because the spawns would flip. If you had one person with a submachine gun run towards the opposing team's flag, the game would be like, whoa, this is suddenly unsafe. Let's put the opposing team on on the other end of the map, it felt like. And obviously, that's a bit of an exaggeration, but still, that's kind of what it felt like, and they really want to work on the spawn system with Black Ops 3. They want to make it so trapping is possible, but they don't want to make it so people are like literally being spawn killed, but at the same time, they don't want to hold people's hands so much that they're constantly flipping back and forth and everybody gets a trophy and a participation award and things like that. So I think it's going to be good. I really didn't have too many qualms with the spawn system during the Black Ops 3 beta. I thought it was pretty good, and it looks like they improved on it a little bit here regarding feedback from the beta. And that is just about all they really discussed. Of course, there's some other things that they discussed here, but I'm not going to go into too much detail here with this video. I just wanted to cover the major talking points that I noticed while watching the live stream. And again, if you guys want to check out the entire thing, it's actually not very long. If I had to estimate, it was maybe 30 minutes long at the most, and you can see the developers be interviewed and talk about different aspects of the game. Like we learned about they tease a little bit more, I suppose, that after you hit 10th prestige, where there's going to be 55 is to be like the max level, then you can prestige. There's going to be 10 prestiges, and we've learned about this long before, but Vonderhaar said that there's going to be something special after you get the 10th prestige, maybe similar to a master prestige. Like, it's not going to just be more prestiges, but you are going to continue to earn things and do things and whatnot. He teased it, but he didn't talk too much about it. Like, little things like that you can see throughout the live stream where they talk about different aspects of the game, like the possibility of having a camo that's higher than Diamond. Like, Diamond camo is going to be returning, and they talked about that in the live stream, but there's possibly going to be something that's going to be higher than Diamond camo. Like, there's going to be a lot of cool stuff with this game, and hopefully you guys check out the live stream and let me know in the comments what you guys think about Call of Duty Black Ops 3. I hope you guys all enjoyed this video. Remember to leave a rating, and I hope you guys all have a wonderful day.